Hello and welcome back to Nerditude Movie Podcast. I'm Matt here with Alex and Lewis, and we're back with a bit of a different one today. We're doing one movie, but we're kind of going to discuss this particular director, his other works. David Fincher. I believe it's a Fincher, right?
Fincher.
My dyslexia kicks in with his name all the time. I don't know why, but I have to think about it when I say it. Otherwise, I'll be like Finker. Like it just doesn't work out. My brain is dumb.
David Sphincter.
Sphincters, yes. The German David Fincher. Even more dirtier. Okay, so real quick, what is his infatuation with the goddamn blue filter? Can somebody explain to me? Can David Fincher write me an email and just be like, I just like the color blue? Like something? Why is it always like this movie, The Killer,
Blue
which is what we are reviewing.
Sorrow.
We're going to be reviewing... we are going to be reviewing The Killer, which is his latest movie. Sadly, a Netflix movie. That made me sad.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather see it as like a Max or a Paramount or one of those than before it hits fucking Netflix, bro. The Machine.
Better.
Burt Kreischer's The Machine is a Netflix movie. Like, you don't want this on Netflix. Or anything else. Netflix sucks.
It does. I agree.
Yeah. Put it on Paramount.
Yeah, but Paramount, you know, I'll keep Peacock because the whole Peacock WWE thing and all that shit's really cool. It's worth the price of admission just if you're like a wrestling fan. And then they got some pretty good shit out there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm like Netflix really. Stranger Things is ending next year. What else does it have to keep viewers? Like, what original content is Netflix pumping out that people give a Ozark's over?
Yeah, well, the Stranger Things kids are gonna be in their 40s with the new
right.
season.
Fucking 11's gonna be pregnant and have to postpone filming for a year if they don't get it filmed already. Fuck. The whole thing surrounding her has always been disgusting, though. It's always been like, can't wait till she turns 18, and it's like she's 13. What the fuck?
Netflix has The Witcher, that great show.
No, fuck that show. I haven't watched the latest, but I tell you right now. Fuck that show. Not even the creators I'm all in support of. Witcher 1 is getting an open world remake. But fuck that show.
There was something that they're hoping to be the one that takes place of them. I can't remember which one it was. I'm trying to find their originals, but I don't know.
They're bringing back the franchise of White Men Can't Jump, I think, is what's happening.
Oh, they made that into a show, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, they rebooted it. Was it a TV show and not a movie? What the fuck?
Yeah, there was a TV show. It might still be on.
Who wants to watch that? I want to do interviews of viewers of these fringe TV shows. Like, I just want to jump on Discord with me so we could talk about your shitty taste in entertainment.
They're hoping One Piece takes over for Stranger Things to capture the younger audience.
One Piece definitely will. The only thing, I mean, other than like One Piece, that
Umbrella Academy with Elliot Page. I mean, that's
ending.
Though,
it's ending. Yeah.
The next season's the last one. Good.
Netflix bought the rights to do the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, which is by this Chinese author, Cixin Liu. It's like...
You said who?
I think it's... I don't know how to say his fucking name. His last name's Liu, which is very Asian. It is it is mind-melting hard science fiction. It's a really good story, but like if you ever want to like realize how stupid you are, read the books because it's fucking rocket science.
You
Um,
know what? I realize how
but
stupid I am anytime I read. Okay, I don't need that book's help.
but they paid a bunch of money to get it, but the directors are DB whatever the fuck they are, the Game of Thrones directors that think the series. So,
Hmm.
but I'm excited for that to come. Other than that, I think Matt, uh, I think we were texting the other day. You said something along the lines of like for me, like I'd rather not have Netflix and just like
Yeah.
buy the digital shit when it comes out. Like, there's no driving thing for Netflix that I'm
No.
like I want to keep going with, and all the
And
other
like,
stuff.
I also think Hulu's got a much better selection of like nostalgic TV. Like, if you go to Hulu, even without the premium shit, like, or without the add-ons, you've got everything from like old HBO shit, including True Blood and Sopranos, all the way over to all of the FX programming,
Yeah,
Breaking Bad, like, yeah, and then you're talking 90s shows. Like, Hulu is where I would go if I wanted to, let's say I had kids and I wanted to watch, hey, let's show them Home Improvement. That's not true. I own it on Vudu. But if I didn't, it would be Hulu because they've really got the best, like, kind of widest selection of random old shit that you may not even remember watching, and you're going through Hulu and you're like, oh, fuck, I remember that show.
And also, if you don't have Disney Plus but you have Hulu, you get some of the Disney Plus stuff. Like
Yeah.
Goosebumps is on there, and
Yeah.
it's also on Disney Plus, so you can watch it on both.
I gotta give Disney Plus credit. I think they have the best looking 4K image on across any streaming platform.
they also have a better UI than some of the other stuff. The
It's
worst
smooth.
is Prime Video looks
Oh, Prime Video
horrendous.
where you can't literally Prime Video doesn't allow you to like I use my phone with my Apple TV, and every other streaming services you pause it and just use the touchpad and it scrolls the bar forward. Not
Oh, I
Prime,
wish.
it's only 10 seconds ahead. So like
Yeah,
if I'm flipping through the celebrity interview in Top Gear, I'm fucking finger blasting my phone like just to get to where I want to be because I don't want to sit here all fucking day. It's
Does
ridiculous.
your phone start to moan?
Yeah, Australian Siri calls me fuckface and says, "Thank you, Daddy." She knows
Oh,
how I
fuckface.
yeah.
Your
Thank
fingers
you,
are so
fuckface.
good.
Sorry, I could not find that.
Oh, stop. Oh, there.
You're going to make me passwords. What the fuck? Yeah,
Passwords.
yeah. Prime is awful. Netflix's 4K is decent, compressed slightly, but decent. Hulu's 4K is underwhelming. It's clean, but I feel like it's all just upscaling. I don't think there's anything native 4K on Hulu.
The user interface for fucking Amazon Prime versus any of the other ones is fucking garbage.
Dude, and like the problem with Amazon Prime is like every other service is like, oh, you pay for the service. Here's all the movies. Not Amazon Prime. You're scrolling through and you're like, oh shit, this is out here, and it's like rent or buy for 14. And you're like, oh, well, why would you fucking show it to me? I just want to see the ones that I paid for
subscribe
already.
to this. Subscribe
Right?
to that.
And or they trick you where it's like, oh shit, they got this movie on Prime and it's a freebie movie. You got to sit through. I sat through
You got to go through commercials.
back-to-back commercials of 120 seconds trying to watch Top Gear because there's nowhere else to fucking watch it. And I was so pissed off. I was like, oh my God. Because I had to fast forward a little because I skipped the celebrity interviews because I don't give a fuck. I just want to see the adventures. I've already watched it all. And yeah, dude, I was so pissed off. And it's like, why is Top Gear not... Like, I'll pay you $7 a month legitimately just to watch Top Gear. Like, I don't give a fuck. If you created a service that was just Top Gear every episode, I'd pay you a certain amount of $5 a month easy.
Does the BBC app have it?
I believe if
Have
you
you
are
ever
in
checked?
the UK, the old ones are out there, but in the US of A, no. I mean, I could VPN it, but that's a pain in the ass to watch Top Gear.
This is a tangent, but have you ever tested what let's say you have a movie on Vudu in what UHD, is that what they call their 4K?
Yes.
Have you ever tested how it looks on there versus an app that it's on. Because like a while back I was messing with it. So I've Game of Thrones on Blu-ray, and on my Blu-ray on my nice TV looks good. Game of Thrones on Max, I don't know if it's because of the compression, doesn't look as good as the Blu-ray. And my Game of Thrones collection on Vudu, which I have the 4K, looks better than both of them. And Max
When was
has
the last
Game of
time you
Thrones.
watched it on Max? Because they did add it to 4K. Have you watched the 4K transfers?
Yeah, on Vudu, on my Vudu, the 4K, the UHD, it still looks like crisper.
Well, you're talking about heavier levels of compression. You gotta remember, the streaming networks are all, that's why nothing, if you're streaming a 4K movie, none of it's true 4K. Like, you're not maxing out your TV's capabilities. That's why the physical media will always be better. Because there is virtually, the only compression you would have on a 4K disc is if they couldn't fit the whole fucking movie on it. So you're getting full wide bandwidth. On a stream, you're getting compressed video signal. Even on Vudu has compression. It's just lesser because that's a premium service. With that said, I remember watching Game of Thrones on TV, even on the HBO Network app they had at the time. And when the last season aired, there was so much compression and it was so dark. Half the episodes you couldn't fucking see anything. Like all the episodes at nighttime along the wall could barely see anything. When I watched it on 4K, noticeably better. So even if their transfer is probably more compressed and softer than like the Vudu, but it's leagued better than the garbage they had out there before they did whatever upscaling they did to it.
When the disc wars of 2000-ish for HD, DVD, and Blu-ray, I watched the Harry Potter movies on both formats to see how it was, and the HD DVD actually looked a fucking lot better every time they had a nighttime scene. It was so clear you could see everything, and when you watched on Blu-ray, it was fucking dark. You couldn't see shit.
Blu-ray was always a softer image, and at the time, Blu-ray didn't have the, like, HD DVD had a better contrast, but Sony made Blu-ray the winner by packaging it with, it was actually by packaging it with the PS3. Like, by the PS3 being the Blu-ray format, you automatically guaranteed how many millions of sales of that console, which Sony, they're getting, that made the Blu-ray format. HD DVD, unfortunately, was, you want to go watch some more interesting shit than HD DVD versus Blu-ray, go look up HD VHS. HD VHS was literally a thick VHS would play in a special HD player, was 1080i. The contrast ratios look better than they do on the DVDs that were 480p max resolution. It's wild. When you go on YouTube one day, look up HD VHS. It's crazy how much better a fucking VHS that was the top of the line VHS technology you could create even looked better than Blu-rays that came out after, or DVDs that came out after. And then even the movie was, I can't remember the movie, but it was a Denzel Washington movie. And they even compared the HD VHS to the Blu-ray. And the HD VHS was still like, I think the Blu-ray, they even said, still looked worse in some areas. Which is mind-boggling, considering it was a fucking VHS, dude. That's awesome. Well, they used to, remember Superbit. They did the same thing with DVDs. When Superbit on the DVD and VHS was, the DVDs, the big thing was extras. Not for Superbit. Superbit cut out everything. There wasn't deleted scenes. It was just the fucking movie, and it was given the entire disc for the audio and video track on it. That's why Superbit was so great, because it was a higher quality. Even though you're looking at the same resolution output, the bandwidth they allowed the actual film was higher. Those all had DTS 5.1 when DTS was really not a home consumer thing. It was like a go to the theater to get D. Now it's RP. Now it's 4D, sucks you off while you watch Madam Web and there's 50 Shades of Horrors.
IMAX fucking sound.
You say you miss the heyday of like good movie posters. Also, late 90s, early 2000s DVD menus when they were fun and interactive and cool.
And you
Does
had to
anybody
find the
remember-
Easter eggs.
Does anybody
Yeah.
remember the Terminator 2 special edition DVD that like they had the DVD out that was just like a garbage whatever transfer, and then Cameron went back for like the 10th anniversary or something. The Skynet, not Skynet, it was another edition. I forgot what they called it. But seeing that and going in the menu and the menu's all animated and you're going through Skynet's menus and it was like, I know I shouldn't be this excited about this, but I fucking am. Like, this is awesome.
And now it's just like static background play.
Yeah, it's
menu.
literally just an image, and then below it's like play extra, and the extras are like a deleted scene. I will say Vudu for big movies does give you a decent amount. Like a lot of the big movies will be like, there's 14 featurettes. I don't know why this movie needed 14 featurettes, but we've got them.
What's it called? Princess Bride did that too, where it's Andre the Giant climbing up the rope. And then you got the guy saying, "Wow, this is inconceivable." You got him fucking talking as they go along.
I'm trying to think of like, I mean, DVDs did have some menus that were just like the music playing in the background with an image, and then it was play extras, scenes. I remember chapters being a big thing. Dude, I'll tell you right
Yeah.
now, I have completely forgotten about that like era of technology. Like I'm at the point where I watch most of my movies. If it's physical, it's either on my Xbox or my PS5. Digital, most of it is run through Apple TV because I find the image on the Apple TV via the Vudu, iTunes, and all those to be cleaner than I find via the PS5 or Xbox. And so, like, Apple TV saves it. So if I'm watching a movie and I stop and I come back and it's like, do you want to resume? And it's like, fuck yes, I do. Like, the days of chapters for me are fucking dead. If you're using chapters, you too old.
Peacock does that too. As soon as you start, it asks you if you want to resume or start over.
Dude, that's the best thing. By the way, we did start Yellowstone. I think we're only in the second episode. We haven't had a whole lot of time. We did wrap up Peaky Blinders. Great show. I recommend if you're having a hard time with the accent, we're just watching it with subtitles on. But
Speaking of what's his face, Oppenheimer comes out soon. I really want to watch
yeah, I
that.
think November 21st.
Blue Beetle's out.
Who
It's
gives
on
a
Max.
fuck?
Came
I
out
actually
today.
kind of wanted to watch that movie, and then I read something about George Lopez. I read him talking about like shit about white people and how this isn't a Superman or a superhero movie for white kids, and I was like, and then I saw the trailer and realized his character is like the most stereotypical drunk Mexican like uncle character you can fucking think about, and it's like, you're not really setting a better tone for your peoples now, are you? Like you're basically
Yes.
playing just a fucking stereotype, but it's somehow
he's
different.
Drunko Lopez.
Well, he's been Drunko Lopez since his fucking ABC show went off the air.
Oh, he has a new one now. It's him and his daughter.
Jen and I were actually watching it, and the problem with it is it's got all of the same stupid humor, but none of the
Mhm.
charm as his old show. Like
It's
his,
just
I
him.
liked
It's
his
just him
original
standing there
George
with his
Lopez
belly
show.
sticking out over his
Yeah.
shirt. or
What do you
under his shirt.
mean? Like, I'm not fucking drunk. Like, and it's like, here's the thing is I've dealt, when I was younger and I was playing in bands and basements and shit, I used to deal with those dudes like a lot. And they're not fun like the shows make it seem. Like they're always like, I'm ready to fight you levels of drunk. And they're never fun. It's never like, oh, I'm just lazy. No, it's like, fuck you. And it's like, calm down, George. We'll just call him George's because he's a raging alcoholic. Factoid, did you know that George Lopez got Conan'd from TBS a bit? So the whole thing was Jay Leno really. But you know how Conan was, Jay Leno, he left and they were like, oh, Conan's ratings are shit, so he came back and that whole situation. Well, Conan actually talked to George Lopez because he at the time had a nighttime talk show at 10:30.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make sure that he didn't Jay Leno George Lopez. So there was a partnership and a friendship, and then like 2 years later, once George Lopez's ratings started to slip, they fucking shit canned him. So Conan kind of Jay Leno'd George Lopez in a way, but it's more or less TBS Jay Leno or George Lopez. And to be
Oh,
fair,
it was going to be on that network.
you would know George Lopez was on TBS before Conan
Was
was
he?
there. Yeah, he was there for
Shit.
like I think he had a successful season. got renewed for a second. Conan came on board. He got renewed for a third and maybe final season. After Conan was he took the earlier time slot and
then
pushed
Lopez
George. Yeah,
needed a liver, and that's when he got not funny anymore.
I mean, he once again he hasn't been funny since like I'm sorry, but his first stand up, which I think is called "Why You Crying," is fucking hilarious. But all of his funny jokes from his TV show comes from that stand up. Like nothing really new came out of his comedy after that stand up special because it was all the same shit.
Almost every movie or anything I've seen him in, it's always been something from his stand-up that was funny. It was never anything original.
He's never done anything like. I mean, what is more unoriginal than like, hey, I want to do a TV show. What's it about? I'm a father. Oh, what else? I'm a Latino father. What else? I got a daughter and a son.
I make fun of my family.
Right? You know, I keep the gangster lifestyle, but trying to be business. And it's like that would explain why he's got the terrible fucking haircut for the first half of the show. You ever watch the early seasons of George Lopez, dude?
No.
He has got a fucking what's the guy's name from Chips? Eric Estrada. He's got a Eric Estrada. Not even. You got to look it up. His fucking hair is ridiculous. Like they even write it into the show where his boss tells him he needs to cut his fucking hair. Which I'm only assuming that like the producers or something.
It looks like a wig when he can go like that and adjust it.
I mean, at that point, you got to imagine somebody like a producer's in the background going like, can he just, is there a reason why he won't cut his hair? Like, is he really against it?
Yeah.
It's awful. It's like, it's almost like the Mexican male version of the Karen haircut. It's fucking terrible.
It looks like a Lego, like click on.
Yeah. It's awful. And like, you'd have to imagine the executives in the background were just like, they're literally rehearsing. So they're whispering and they're like, is he going to cut that fucking hair? And the other guy's like, we've talked to him, but I mean, maybe if we put it into the episode, and he's like, fucking do something, dude. Because
have you seen the other Latino haircut called the Edgar?
What's that look like?
It's like Lewis's hair, but it's more like lines going over everything. So the hair is short and it's just like it looks like it's a helmet.
Yeah,
but it's all lined. That's
called the Edgar. I always called it the Tron because it looked like they was just highlighting this like the curvature of the big peanut heads.
Oh God!
What are you looking at now?
That's
the Edgar.
That's something.
It looks almost like the bowl haircut that my wife had when she was a kid.
My mom too. My mom showed us old photos of her, and like, no wonder my mom was all fucked up in adulthood. The way they had her dressed and her, she looked like fucking Ringo from the Beatles. Like, I've got blisters on me fingers. All right, so we are here to talk about movies. Believe it or not, we are reviewing The Killer today, which is Michael Fassbender and David. I don't know why. By the way, Michael Fassbender is shredded in this movie. He gets one shirtless scene, and I was like, "Geez, like somebody give this guy a fucking hamburger, though."
And it's him him crying in the tub or in the shower.
He's just a little too skinny. I'm watching it, and I'm feeling bad. Like I get it. Like I'm obese. I shouldn't be talking about a skinny person, but like for me, buddy, eat some carbs. Like enjoy a bread roll for fuck's sake. But what is your guys' favorite out of the ones we've seen? David Fickener movie.
Right, I'm trying to pull up his filmography again. Damn it!
Idiot.
Damn it!
It's got to be Fight Club or Social Network. I like both of those.
See, it's hard too because I definitely want to say Fight Club, but I'm also a really big fan of not only The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but Panic Room is one of my favorites, and so is Zodiac. I mean, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
I honestly,
Seven.
I don't think I could pick a favorite Fincher film like Zodiac. Like, there's not a bad part in Zodiac. It's such a good movie. The Social Network is also
the brilliance in that movie is also the cast. I mean, the Zodiac has a fucking all-star. I mean, not to mention Robert Downing Jr., which was the Zodiac before or right after he did Iron Man? Because it was on that road he had to like full stardom comeback.
2007 would have been before, right?
before,
Iron
and I
Man?
am gonna say everybody says Iron Man revived his career. They're wrong. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is, in my opinion, the movie that brought Robert Downey Jr. back into the Hollywood fold. Because then he got Iron Man, and then he got these other roles. Then Iron Man, sure, I mean, gave him 15 years of career. And now I guess the rumor is he's re-signed, and they're going to try to bring back all the original Avengers somehow.
Oh God, no! Let it die.
Secret Wars! I've also heard rumors that Wolverine and another character is going to lead the Secret Wars. It was Wolverine.
And Tobey Maguire, right? Tobey Maguire,
Yes.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, which would be interesting. I mean, I'd love to see. We all know we're going to get Wolverine and Deadpool. And beyond all this, the only Wolverine project I'm actually legitimately excited for is Insomniac's Wolverine game, which they have announced does exist inside of the Spider-Man universe. However, because they wanted the Wolverine team to make a Wolverine game without any limitations, there probably is no crossover scenes with Wolverine and Spider-Man because they wanted to tell the Wolverine story and not have like, oh, you got to have this crossover, you know?
Maybe they'll
Which,
aim for like a Wolverine 2, Spider-Man 3 around that
I mean,
timeline.
from what I understand, Wolverine is supposed to be full-on M-rated, which would be cool because the only other M-rated Wolverine game was Origins, which was a brilliant game to where your health bar was your body. And literally chunks of you, like you'd be running around and like half of the only thing that would be showing would be like half of your exoskeleton. And then as you heal, your little character would grow flesh back. It was awesome.
If they're gonna do that though, please no open world, or if you do, like scale it back very limited.
It's going to be an open. Well, the problem is with Wolverine is you can't just have him in like Wolverine in New York City doesn't work.
Are you gonna be driving around a little yellow Jeep?
Like that's the thing. Like Wolverine's gonna have
Wolverine
to be
in the country.
Well, it's gonna have to be open
that
world.
Would be good.
Like it'll be open world, but it'll be like your first section of the game starts off in the UP of Michigan / Canada. Or it depends on how far they want to go back. I don't know. That all depends on the story. Because like if we're talking Wolverine's origin, we don't know anything about that past. So theoretically, you'd start it as him in Canada, probably hunting something. But what would be cool is if they're doing open worlds, have several locations around the world, have hub worlds, and then build missions around those that you can explore. Like once again, it all depends on where they're going. If they're not going to include the rest of the X-Men and it's only a Wolverine thing, well, Xavier's Mansion wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? Shit like that. But I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Pre-X-Men? Or
that's the thing, and I guarantee you that it will be an open world. I mean, the last how many games they've made have all been open world. I mean, Ratchet and Clank was the most linear of the game they've made since ever.
Since ever.
I mean, straight up. But the killer. Now, that question is hard. For me, it's a tie between like Fight Club, Panic Room, and Zodiac. I will say I really do like this movie. I do a bit feel his style is just full on through this movie. His eye for angles and cinematography is on point. But I can't help but feel like this is a bit of a washed out David Fincher movie. It's a bit of like he's there, but it's somewhat hollow. And maybe part of the problem with this movie is most of everything in it is based upon the guy's monologuing. Don't get me wrong, I love Michael Fassbender, and I thought he did great in this movie. But I don't know, man. The first 15 minutes are him monologuing about shooting somebody, and he shoots the wrong fucking person.
But if you're not familiar with the source material, it is based off of a comic book. I think it's actually 2 books, and it's kind of it is the same thing. It's
Wait.
kind of
this isn't. It doesn't have anything to do with the was it Chow Yun Fat movie, The Killer? Like it's got no relation to that story, does it?
no. It's a small indie publisher. It's a French dude who made the comic, The Killer.
Right. No wonder it's
it's
boring and monotone. Fucking French. Oh, Sacre Bleu, I make killer. I want to listen to the Smiths. Is
We
Lewis
lost
frozen?
Lewis.
Oh,
Yep.
shit.
back.
I
There
thought
he
he
is.
was
I don't
just
know what-
not happy with making a French accent, and he was just deadpan staring at me.
Yeah, he just
No,
stopped
but-
for a second.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, it is based off of a comic, and I'm wondering if that's why, like, because it feels like a Fincher movie, but it kind of doesn't. And like, this is his most like, I know the character is laid back.
It's his
but the
most
movie
vanilla
also feels-
movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like it's very much mainstream. It's like maybe that's my and I wouldn't say I have a problem with it because I did enjoy it. I felt it was slow at times. I thought the violence was visceral. The action scenes were done well, but it is very much his like first like totally just kind of vanilla.
It was long, but it was filling. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
It
there
wasn't-
wasn't. Yeah, besides him like monologuing for 20 minutes, there wasn't a whole lot of like wasted. It was like scene to scene to scene.
but at least his monologuing was over something that was happening at the same time. So that was a good thing about it.
What I did find annoying was the chapter titles that would come in, because like by the end of the movie, like it's just like chapter 6 and then disappears. Like they progressively get faster, and I didn't understand that one at all. Like I didn't know if that was supposed to be like the pressure was mounting on him. So by the end of the
Mhm.
movie, he's like constantly moving faster because his whole goal is he keeps repeating that mantra of stick to the plan, you know, like that whole thing. So I didn't know if that was like maybe a
Anticipate, don't.
subliminal representation of his anxiety. But what it was annoying me because I already have fucking anxiety and I don't need fucking more anxiety.
I don't want to give away the ending, but I thought the ending was going to be completely fucking different. I thought it was going to end
I did too.
differently. Yeah.
Well, and that's why I said earlier that the movie.
That's why I
is-
liked it.
It's yeah, but part of it is it's good, but it's almost too happy of an ending where you're kind of like, what the fuck was the point of this whole movie?
I feel like we're gonna have to spoil the ending because I thought it was gonna go in a certain direction.
I thought
If
a
you
cool
haven't seen the movie,
just fucking spoil
watch
it.
it.
It's streaming. If you're gonna tell me, I mean, I understand people don't like spoilers, but spoiler fucking alert. You've been notified.
so what you guys think was gonna happen at the end?
I
Man.
thought when he was starting to relax that there was going to be somebody there that's going to fucking kill him or something, or some kind of like something was
So-
going to take him out.
So I thought
Think-
that at the end he was gonna relax, and then it was gonna be her that had a gun to his fucking head and then pulled the trigger. Like the fact that didn't
That would've been a
happen,
kinda cool twist.
I wanted it to happen as like, because like that's the whole idea, right? The whole idea behind it is okay, he's wiped out everybody involved, but there's always a hierarchy in that business.
Mm-hmm.
Like so theoretically, they would
The-
never stop coming for him.
So we all have a similar thought pattern. So I thought because if you follow his monologue through the whole movie, it becomes cyclical because
Trust no one.
everything he's doing, he's not following. And by
Yeah.
the time he gets to that high rise, I thought someone else was gonna snipe him. 'Cause
Okay.
it kind of because it kind of would have went full circle. And
That would have had a
also-
bit of a Departed feel if they went that route.
but also I mean like he decides not to kill the guy, but if he did, like you would just keep going, like that trail is never going to stop. So yeah, I thought he was going to be sniped from a different building.
Because he also
Yeah.
goes back to the same fucking house. That's why I thought it was going to happen at his house.
I will say the fight scene with the Florida guy. I don't even know who played that guy, but I feel it looked a little bit like the dude who plays Master Chief. But I couldn't
That
tell if that
scene-
was actually him.
That scene ramped up out of nowhere and kept going. I thought
Well,
it was really well done.
One of the things I loved about it, and it really did make me think of True Lies, is he gets his fucking ass kicked. Like
Mhm.
there's that one scene where the guy hits him and he knocks him on the ground, and then he kind of comes to right before the next punch is gonna come. But then the guy jacks him up against the wall and uppercuts him in the head.
Yeah.
And he's just got that like, oh fuck, and then he dodges. Like I thought that fight scene, and that I was watching that fight scene going, this is what a Bourne Identity movie would look like without the fucking shaky cam. This is
Yeah.
like the whole vibe of this movie. Get rid of the assassin and bring in he works for MI6 or CIA or a shadow organization. And it's or Echelon, I believe, or whatever their name was in Bourne Identity. It's a Bourne movie, like, or a Bond movie. Like, let him direct a Bond movie. Give him. I mean, he'll never get reins of like a Mission Impossible, but like this movie does show that, in my opinion, Fincher would be capable of making a Bond movie, and probably a pretty good one.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like one thing I appreciate, like I'm a fan of Fincher because of his style of filming. Like his shots are very tight. Like the color palette he uses in all his films is typically the same. But the thing he does with camera work, like he does a lot of like lingering shots. He kind of pans on stuff a little longer than normal. I've always thought like Fight Club was cool, but I always thought even after Fight Club, like I'd like to see him do like more action.
Yeah.
And I agree. The Bourne movies are just like fucking shaking. And during the
Full
during the fight
discourse,
scene,
I do like the Bourne movies, but it gets to a point by number 3 where you're like, what in the fuck is happening? Like, why is everything so shaky? Like, the first one has shakiness, and then by the third one, that was the style of the movies, where like by the time Jeremy Renner was in one and it didn't have as shaky as a camera, it was that movie I enjoyed it because it was a fucking relief.
I feel like it's a mask for bad fight choreography most
Well,
times.
see, I would say that most times, except we all know that the Bourne series has pretty exceptional fight choreography, especially considering it really wasn't any Asian influence in that movie. You're talking Western influenced martial arts action, which you don't see much of. I give those movies a lot of credits, but I will agree that that sort of camera it's used a lot to make a shitty fight scene look better than what it is, even though it's still shitty.
I don't
It
know.
was
Talking
overused
all
too.
the
After Bourne Identity, that became the every. I mean, look, didn't Transformers 2 have a problem with making people sick because of all the movement?
yeah, talking about all this makes me miss first seeing all the Daniel Craig Bond movies for the first time. I love all of
I
his
mean,
Bond films.
I'm sorry, but when call me a millennial, but if you're gonna ask me who the greatest Bond is, it's Daniel Craig.
Same.
I'm sorry, but
I haven't seen any of his.
I love
Oh, they're
Goldfinger.
good.
Like, I love Goldfinger. I love Sean Connery, but nobody can make a proper argument to me how Casino Royale isn't the best Bond. Because to me, Casino Royale and GoldenEye are the 1 and 2 best Bond movies. And then the cool thing about the Daniel Craig ones is, like, the first one, amazing story, good amount of action, not crazy amount, good amount of action. Number 2 had probably one of the stupidest villains. Quantum of Solace has the dumbest villain in all of the movies, because basically it's like, how evil are you? Well, I'm going to take the water. And they're like, the water of the world? He's like, no, just this one village. And it's like, oh. And then Bond literally blows the entire village up. But Quantum of Solace starts and doesn't stop. It's one long fucking action scene. Then you have Skyfall, which is kind of the masterpiece of the Bond movies, even though I
love Skyfall.
I do think Casino Royale, for me, ranks higher than Skyfall, but great movie.
That's the only one I've ever seen of his.
Really?
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale is I think the best. I mean, well, it's not the highest reviewed. I mean, I'm pretty sure Skyfall is. Great movie. Spectre. What was the last one? The Spectre was okay. I didn't love Spectre, and then I liked the last one.
No Time to Die.
Yeah, I dug No Time to Die. I thought it had it kind of went back to the number, Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale's sort of raw James Bond violence. I thought Spectre and Skyfall, as good as they are, and once again, for me, Spectre was the weaker of those two. A lot of slow in those movies. Those movies were much more dramatic than action.
Damn, now I want to watch them all. I'm looking them up.
That guy that you were asking about, the Brute, that's what they call him in this one. He was in Bullet Train. He was in Deadpool 2. He was Older Fist, or Older Fire Fist, whoever that is. And he was also in the Mandalorian TV show. But other than that, he hasn't had anything fucking big. This is the biggest. This one and I guess Bullet Train, but I don't remember him Bullet Train.
do want to give a shout out to Pierce Brosnan as well. I think Goldeneye and the one after that were both amazing. They got goofy, but the weird thing about the Pierce Brosnan movies is they got goofier, but more violent.
Snowmobile.
But they got more violent. Like the one where he's in North Korea, I think, or wherever the fuck he is, and he's just literally in a tank with an AK-47 just shooting every fucking soldier he sees. Like they got the death counts in the Pierce Brosnan movies. Every movie that he made got dumber, but the death count got higher.
Also, at his age at that time, he just looked fucking cool as James Bond.
Dude, I mean, come on, Pierce Brosnan is a pretty cool fucking Irishman. Like, if he was your dad, you'd be like, yeah, my dad's pretty cool. Like, it's fucking Pierce Brosnan. Like, sure, you may not like him from Mrs. Doubtfire, but he was James Bond.
Wasn't he in another movie that was like he was a killer for hire, but he was like going through the Matador.
Yeah, Mia Jovovich, or no, like that's the witness. I think he was the bad man.
2005, he was in the Matador with Greg Kinnear and all that. That one was a good one. So he was this guy that was a hired hitman that was going through like a fucking midlife crisis, and he's fucking just walking around with a fucking cowboy hat on, boots and shit, and he's drinking and just walks into a pool and just sits there. At the bottom.
Did he do an American accent, like a straight American accent?
I don't think he ever does.
He didn't have an American accent. It was just his accent, how he talks.
I think part of the reason they were able to sell people on Pierce Brosnan early on was due to the fact that he had that accent. Like the ladies loved that accent.
Also, it wasn't that you couldn't understand him. You can actually understand what he says.
Yeah, he wasn't Leprechaun. He was more smooth with it. He's been in a lot of shit though. Like I gotta say, 1 second. I gotta say, I give credit to some of these dudes that after Taken came out, were all like, I could do that. Pierce Brosnan is one of them. And John Travolta is one of them with that movie, something Paris.
Oh,
From Paris
with Love.
And he just basically plays this on the line rogue kind of agent who is ultimately the good guy. But his character was badass, and when you watch it, you go, what the hell? Is fucking John Travolta's making Taken now? Are you fucking kidding me? But I don't know, man. I like those movies in the mid 2000s.
So Pierce Brosnan, when I remember him from the beginning, was Remington Steele. It was the old 80s TV show that he was on. And he did like 5 years of that. And then after that, he reprised that role kind of in 007, because he was a spy in that TV show. And that's pretty cool.
GoldenEye is so good, not even just for him, but there's like this scene where he's chasing the Russian general in a tank, and they're going through traffic, and the guy's beeping, and he goes, "Use the bumper. That's what it's for." And he's like running people over. You got the no more foreplay, and then of course you've got Hagrid, who he threatens to murder Bond, and he's just like, my knee aches every time it rains because of you. And because Bond shot him in his kneecap last time they saw each other. Fucking great. Go watch GoldenEye, kids. Don't watch that fucking whatever the fuck you're watching. Don't play Fortnite. Go watch GoldenEye.
OG Fortnite.
I was trying to look up another James Bond-esque movie that I had heard of, and I never watched it. It's newer. The Gray Man. Has anyone seen that one?
Is that Gray Man? Is that the one that's directed by the Russo brothers?
Ryan Gosling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Is it?
It's awesome. I really like that movie. We should review it.
Wasn't that like a Netflix movie too? The Gray Man?
Netflix movie that's directed by the Russo brothers. It's fucking awesome.
I think I'll check it out this weekend.
It's got Chris Evans in it. He plays the bad guy. It's a great movie.
I'm I'm gonna watch all the Craig Bond movies now. I'm gonna fucking action.
Actually, you know, I got to give that movie
Yeah.
credit. There's not without we're kind of in kind of a rut when it comes to action movies. That movie's a pretty solid fucking action movie. There's some good fight scenes in it.
Um,
We've already spoiled basically the shit out of this movie, but with that said, check it out. The best way I think I can sum it up for you and describe it is like you're getting David Fincher with all of the flavor, but none of the substance. Like if this was a food, you're gonna eat it and be hungry a half hour later because there was only 30 calories in it. Like as much as I enjoy it, and he's kind of all over it, it is a vanilla movie. The story is as a basic as it comes, which is Hitman botches job, they try to kill Hitman, Hitman kills them. That's the entire fucking storyline. And there's cool scenes in there, like when he kind of tortures the lawyer, and then Dolores, and the way he kind of goes about being methodical and just brutal and no empathy in his rules. It does give a very almost like if Patrick Bateman was a legitimate assassin instead of just
For
like
hire, yeah.
instead of a rich psychopath.
him just snapping her fucking neck. I was like, I knew you were gonna kill her. Just
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have a
Yeah.
question. I have a question about that. Was that her house?
Yes.
yeah.
So did he snap her neck down the stairs so the kids would think that she just fell down the stairs?
Yes. So
Mhm.
she could
Okay.
collect. So they could collect the insurance.
So,
That's what
so
she was
that's
at-
already
that's-
him breaking his rule by showing
Yep.
empathy while
By showing empathy.
bending the rule, really.
And that's why I say the whole movie he's slowly just breaking his mantra, and it kind of would have been perfect if he was assassinated at the end
At the
through
end.
the window, and you just cut off. You don't know what or why.
Or who did it?
If
Yeah.
if at the end he's monologuing all of the rules again, and once he stops, and somebody else says the last rule, and
Yeah.
he looks up and shoop.
Fuck! Now I want to watch a bunch of action movies. God damn it!
I do. I don't know, man. I'm always in favor of a happy ending, but I felt like I don't know. I don't think this character in this movie deserved a happy ending. I don't think the character in the movie does anything to demonstrate that he deserves any sort of redemption. He's a cold-hearted killer, and he's open about it, and his whole monologuing is all to demonstrate, like, yeah, I don't really value human life. It's all about rules, and I don't feel things, but he does feel things because he's got a woman he loves to the point where he finds out she gets the shit beat out of her, and he kills 6 people to rectify 5 people to rectify that.
Mm-hmm.
Including there's some good gruesome deaths in here, like nail gun to the chest, where he miscalculates how long it should take for him to drown in his own blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that how everything's calculated in the scenarios of how he disposes of the bodies are kind of elaborately talked about, and it's a little
That was kind of Dexter-like, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, it's a little Dexter-ish, which I dug. I wish the movie wasn't so goddamn vanilla. I wish it wasn't a simple assassin fucks up, assassin kills more people to rectify it, assassin goes home happy and falls asleep on a beach. It's very 90s.
Yeah.
It's like Bruce
Yeah.
Willis. Are we happy today? We're happy. Yeah, all right. That's like one of those movies for Bruce Willis when he ends it.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it though. I think this is a solid 4 out of 5.
That's what I was gonna say. Same.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go any higher because there's nothing about this movie that made me go, oh, that's different, or oh, that's, like everything fell into place well enough. It looked nice. The soundtrack was nice, minus the fucking garbage license music. But it's not his
You
best.
love
I mean,
the Smiths.
I don't. I would put I'd put Panic Room over this one. I'd put Zodiac and probably Fight Club over this one, simply because the concepts themselves were more original on all
Fuck,
three.
man, I haven't seen Panic Room in a long time. That's such a good movie.
Jen and I just watched that movie, and fucking Jared Leto with dreads or braids, Forrest Whitaker and his dead eye.
Mm-hmm. He's the good guy.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna say the same.
anti-hero more.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 for me. I could have honestly. I'm such a Fincher fan. I could have not known he directed this movie, and halfway through would have been like, "This is David Fincher."
Yeah.
Um,
The color palettes alone kind of give you the. Also, he's got a certain like way of filming where there really isn't a ton of looking up into the sky shots. All of his goes from like neck down, really, or head down. Like he's got a center of gravity about the way he directs.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
I liked it though.
it's a 4 for me. I liked it, and to be like almost a 2-hour movie, and thinking like with all the monologuing and how the monotone it was, I thought it was going to be boring, but it kept me into it. I liked it. Um, you were saying that out of the movies that you would recommend before this one, it would probably be Fight Club, but I really like Social Network, and I think it's because I got to see it for free.
It's a good movie. I mean, Social Network's a great movie.
I mean, you can't go
they're
wrong
different.
with Fight Club. Fight Club's a good, like, Fight Club also is the same from beginning to end. There's no lull in that movie. It's just nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, yeah,
Seven's also. I mean, I think if you watch Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, this movie is like the like light version of that movie. Like is in everything, in story, in violence, in styling. He's almost kind of like he's keeping what makes his movies his, while at the same time toning all of that down and making it more, I think, commercially. Like he made a movie for Netflix. So I think part of it was I'm going to put my style in this, but this is also a mass consumer product, and the days of theaters are dead. So I got to adapt with it. Maybe.
One thing that was kind of turning me off about it at first was I thought I was going to hate this movie. Was what's her name, Tilda Swinton? When I saw
I actually liked her role in this.
Yeah, I don't like her at all, and she actually played a good role in this.
Yeah, she looks like a reptilian, like Mark Zuckerberg. I swear to this thing. They just changed the skin suit.
Well, then you kind of like start to like her character.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're gonna help a lady up, and he literally shoots her in the face while monologuing, "Never trust anybody," and you see she's got a blade in her hand.
Yep.
It's it's like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe he's gonna show her some empathy, and then she gives him the perfect reason not to. And it's just like, you dumb bitch. Like, but they all come from that world that seems of like, they all know that essentially if he shows up and he's in their face, he's the Grim Reaper. They all immediately, when they see him, kind of understand they're not making out of that room alive.
Baba Yaga.
Basically, I mean, and how much money does this motherfucker have to have? Because he spends loads of it throughout this fucking movie.
He's got at least 6, what do you say, 6 U-Haul fucking facilities.
You talk about how he wants to see that episode of Storage Wars where they open up one of his lockers.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I'd want to buy that locker. Fucking walk in there and something with heavy artillery and shit. Fuck yeah. Fucking $100,000 in different currencies.
You'll hear everybody arguing. Are those props? Are those props or real? Is that real? Is that props?
Yeah, knowing my luck,
you can't go inside.
That asshole Dave would outbid me. Yep, and I'd have to beat him to death in the parking lot to get the keys. Hey Dave, yep, fucking die. And I'm James Woodsing him as I'm beating him to death for his keys. Fucking die. You worst character. All right, so I mean, you guys heard it. We all gave it a 4. That total is 12, and then when you divide it by 3 again, it's 4 again. That meant nothing.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
We will see you guys not next week. It's the giving of thanks, and then I don't know if we're going to be back the following week or if how much we're taking off, but we will be back and going into the Christmas season.
Hopefully, Giovanni will be ready.
That would be nice. Yeah, hopefully he can't flip this one off a goddamn table either. It's going to take a lot of thrust to pull the fucking PC off the desk. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Hopefully
he keeps it on the floor.
I have mine on my desk. I'm never worried about this fucker falling over. Like, it's not in a position where anybody's going to bump it. Like, if you knock my PC off my fucking desk, you have to be, like, diving into it like that kid who's just like, fuck this shit. Like, you have to be basically doing that.
Are you talking about Minnie doing parkour on all your shit?
Oh, my dude, that fucking dog is... She literally will go outside, and if you're on the couch, she sprints to the couch and just jumps at you like this. and attacks your face because she's just happy to see you.
So Hopper does that. He gets the zoomies as soon as he takes a shit,
Yep.
and then he comes inside and runs and jumps off everything.
Well, she's faster than Yoshi. She's gonna be a big dog, I think. She's got some pretty thick and
Big
long
paws.
legs. Yeah. I think she's gonna be taller than him. Maybe a little bit lighter though. She's got a more slim profile, but she's still a puppy, so it's hard to tell. But she's crazy. Always trying to make him play. When he doesn't want to play, she sits there and barks at him. Constantly, going at it with each other, or she's going at you. She's in that phase where every time you put your fingers next to her mouth, she tries to chew them. Although she's much more gentle than Yoshi was. Yoshi'd try to, he'd try to take one of those motherfuckers. She goes to a certain pressure point, and it was like when releases immediately without you even saying ow or anything. She's still shitting and pissing in my house, which it needs to stop, but we'll get there.
Pretty soon the whole house is gonna smell like that spray. That fucking.
Well, see, fortunately, Jen is a white girl, and the house already smells like fall fucking Bath and Body Works.
No, I'm talking about the one that gets rid of the urine spell.
Oh yeah, well we do that, and then we mop because the downstairs is mostly tile. Like she hasn't made like one of those messes of like, are you fucking kidding me? Mm-hmm. It's just been like, oh great, you shit on the ground. Let's go outside. But she's done it to us before, where like she jumped on our bed and we realized she had pissed on it, so we removed the sheets, the fucking mattress protector, and everything. Put the next sheet on. First thing she does is jump on it and pisses. And so that night I was doing laundry till like 1 a.m. to get sheets on the fucking bed.
What kind of helped with Hopper was like if he would shit on the floor, like we'd pick it up and take it outside with him and like put it on the ground, and then he slowly started.
Well, see, that's the thing, is she understands outside is where you go potty. She doesn't understand that you don't do it inside. So, I mean, every time she does it, I just give her a good kick to the ribs and she'll learn.
The problem is puppies, like, they get the excited piss everywhere, too. It's like...
Well, that's the reason she shits in the house is because her and Yoshi play for a half hour, and then she's like, gotta poop! And she runs off into the fucking, by the stairs and doesn't signal. Like, sometimes she comes up to you and is like, hey, buddy, what's up? And you're like, okay, you need something.
That's one thing about Diva is she starts barking at you, telling you, like, hey, I want to go outside.
I would prefer that. I would love to be sitting there and hear this little dog bark at me and be like, all right, you got to poop? Cool. Like, that would be much nicer than picking up her shit.
If she has to go outside, she'll go by the front door and bark at you. If she's hungry, she goes by her bowl and she barks at you, which I love that.
Well, this one...
dogs are mean. They'll boss you around.
This one is still in the phase of I'm going to pick up a leaf just so you tell me to drop it, and then I'm going to run away from you with said leaf in my mouth. She plays the game, and eventually when you say it in a stern enough tone, she drops it, she understands it. But at first, like, she the other day was like in the ground, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she picked up a hunk of fucking dirt and soil and ran away from me with it. And I'm in the backyard like a crazy. I'm like, put down the fucking dirt! And I'm like, drop it! And she finally drops it and then looks at me, and I'm like, we're going inside. She's like, now fuck that! And she, runs in the backyard. Like, she's a cutie. She's awesome. She's a pain in the ass.
One thing that's fucking goofy about my dog is that I'll grab the leash at night and I'll, tell her it's time to go outside, for the last time at night. And I'll bend over to go put the leash on her, and she gets really low to the ground. And I'm like, no, we can't go outside unless you sit up. I'm like, come on, up. And she'll sit up, and then as soon as I bend down, she fucking gets down again. I'm like, oh, we're gonna fucking do this.
Trying to put a harness on Yoshi, he acts like you're a TSA agent, like fucking scanning his private area. He just looks at you like, and he just doesn't move. He just stares at you like, I don't fucking like this. And you're like, dude, come on, stop stiffening your fucking leg as you're trying to stuff it through the hole. It's annoying, but I didn't even put her. I've just been using her collar because Jen bought this harness, and the one morning I go to take her out in the car with me, and I look at this harness, and I'm like, fuck this thing. And I just kept her collar on her and threw her leash on and tossed her in the car manually. I was like, you'll get to jump up here plenty in the future. Fucking get your little ass in there. And then I'm driving, and I notice in the rearview mirror, she's on top of Yoshi, trying to get the air coming through the crack in the window I've allowed. Because I see these people with that
Or
let the window
Yoshi.
down like all the way. No,
Yeah.
no, are you fucking not? I'm not even gonna take the like. I know my like Yoshi would never jump out of the car, and I still don't give that little motherfucker the full window. Like, I don't understand that. I mean, maybe
What's
some
the
dogs,
name
but
of
I've
that-
seen videos where dogs just jump out of the car,
Yeah.
and
What's
it's
the name
like
of that movie?
no.
Heredity. Where
Oh well, that
Hereditary.
was a little girl.
Hereditary?
That's okay. She shouldn't have been sticking her head out.
But
That
wasn't
is
the dog
probably one
too?
of the that is probably one of the few horror movies that got me in like the past decade, where I'm watching it and I'm like, they're not gonna do this because they're
That
setting it
scene-
up for like 6 minutes, and you're the whole time you're just like, okay, so are they gonna kill the little girl or the son? And then she's having the asthma or the allergic reaction, and then she pops her head out and fuck. And then not only does the scene happen, but then the very next scene is like her rotting head sitting on the side of the fucking road. And that's probably one of the last things in any horror movie where I was like,
Also, every time you rewatch it, that heavy thud you hear of her head hitting the
The leg.
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
I give that movie a lot of credit for doing something that no movie's been able to do for me in forever, which was make me go, holy shit, they just beheaded a little girl.
It's
What's up, Nikki?
Nikki G.
if you there's a new horror movie by this Argentinian director.
Oh, fuck 'em.
It's on Shudder. It's called When Evil Lurks or Where Evil Lurks.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't watch it, but I
It-
saw the thing.
It has a scene in it that's fucking disgusting, dude. Like, it just came out of nowhere, and the scene is still stuck with me. It's like, that's so fucking gross. But it's worth checking out.
I used to have a movie like Serbian film I remember watching and just not liking it. Like, the problem with the Serbian film was I didn't like the movie. So you have the grotesque shit on top of me being bored, and I'm just like, I could be watching war footage from the Ukraine right now. Like, if my whole thing is I'm just gonna fucking watch brutal violence, I'll go watch real brutal violence. Like, I'm not, and that's
Yeah.
what, like, I'm not, like, that's why I don't like the term of gore porn, because I get it on the base level of, like, a movie with a shit ton of violence. But then there's those movies that just push it to a point of, like, I don't necessarily want any said movie to make me question if it's real. Like, I think,
Fucked up just to be fucked up.
yeah, like, I think the nice thing about a movie is you understand that this is a fictional world. None of these people are real. So, like, as they get ripped apart by a creature, ghost, whatever the case may be, you're still able to disassociate. And every now and then you get a movie that says, no, we're not scary. We're not entertaining. We've just put a collection of grotesquely violent scenes together to make you squirm. And it's like,
Terrifier.
No, Terrifier's entertaining.
Terrifier's different. Terrifier's it's goofy. It's
Yeah.
entertaining.
Comedy.
I feel that
Comedy.
Terrifier, beyond the violence, is also Art the Clown is an entertaining character. I'm talking like the movie Hostel, which A, I
Mhm.
found to be way overrated, and B, I didn't even find to be that violent except for the end with the blowtorch. But that movie had really no substance to it. It was college students go into the wrong hostel, they get tortured, bada bing, bada boom.
For me, The Sadness is probably in that list for me. That fucking horror film.
Oh, yeah.
And that
This sounds familiar.
I also didn't like that movie that you were into with that abstract horror movie that was just fucking boring.
Oh, it's probably the same person that did Hereditary.
No. It was that it's that like low budget one with the kids that are in the house by themselves. Like,
Oh,
there's never any parents.
you and Giovanni kept talking about it. It's on Shudder.
It's
I
not
can't think
horror. Like, I don't know. Like, I know,
Skinamarink.
yeah,
Skinamarink.
dude, I gotta be honest with you. If I'm watching your movie and your response to me saying what the fuck was the point of that movie, if it's gonna be, well, it's not about what's on the screen.
The
It's
shit.
about what your mind interprets. I'm gonna punch you in your fucking mouth. Like, fuck you. You're putting out a product. That's like if I went to Portillo's and I was like, I want a fucking hot dog, and they're like, no problem, come around and make it. Fuck you! I ordered the hot dog.
Instructed.
Like, that's the thing is, like, yeah, no, you can get a hot dog, it's $7, but you gotta come around and make it yourself because I'm a bit fucking busy. It's like, no! Within the cost of this hot dog, you fucking prepare it! And that's the problem with that movie, is they prepared nothing. They're like, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna make a whole fucking movie at really low angles, and we're only gonna have toddlers in it. And it's either gonna be Baby's Day Out 4, or a fucking horror movie. And they just decided to go horror movie, which literally nothing happens in that movie. All it is like white noise generators and the absence of horror. It doesn't exist in that movie. I know you guys liked it. My ADD was like, what the fuck is going on here?
I haven't even seen it. Giovanni and Anthony are the ones that watched it.
It's a very acquired taste, but also the marketing for it was off because it's
acquired taste. I'm gonna film a horror movie and it's just gonna be a freshly painted wall drying, but I'm gonna put white noise and some weird sound effects in there.
Analog horror on YouTube has such a huge following.
Yeah, you want to know what it should be called? I'm gonna get in trouble for this. It should be called autistic horror, because you got to be on a fucking spectrum to enjoy it. That was a rough one.
There's another analog horror creator. It's a young kid. He goes by the name Kane Pixels. He does a series called The Backrooms, which he's gonna make a horror movie on it too.
But I would argue The Backrooms is more eventful than whatever the fuck that movie was called. Like, at least in The Backrooms, there's the element of being lost. Like, what is the element I'm supposed to identify in Skinamarink, since you've seen it? Like, what am I supposed to be focusing on? Because my ADD, I'm focused on 17 different things on screen that don't fucking exist. So, like, where should my focus be in that?
It's one of those. It's kind of a stupid artsy thing, but really, it's the interpretation of whatever the kids are. The problem is Skinamarink is it's not a movie. It's like the shorts on YouTube work because they're shorts. Like you can only be like, what does a kid's brain interpret for like 20 minutes max? Like,
I'll tell you right now, if I went to a movie theater and saw a movie like Skinamarink, I'd ask for my fucking money back. Not even because the movie wasn't good, but because you've wasted an hour and a half of my time on literally nothing. Literally, there's the only sense of horror in the movie is the kids acting like they're seeing something. But they're children. They could be seeing dust particles and think they're a fucking ghost. It's a fucking toddler.
On the subject of kids and horror movies, Chuck E. Cheese, after the whole FNAF movie, there's only one Chuck E. Cheese now that has animatronics. They took them out of every other fucking Chuck E. Cheese in the world.
Well, that's because the animatronics, much like the clientele, started fistfights and stabbing each other all the time, so they had to... I'm not even joking, dude. The Chuck E. Cheese that was in my neighborhood when I moved in here closed down because they're like... How the fuck did Chuck E. Cheese become the modern day saloon where just brawls would take place? That's why the one by me closed down, because the village literally said this Chuck E. Cheese is a problem because there's nothing but cops being called to this fucking thing. Sorry, but we're done. You were not allowing you to do business. You're closing.
And it's all parents fighting with other parents because their kids are jumping in front of other kids.
Who the fuck? I mean, people are so stupid. It's like, oh, they stole my kids' tickets. Shut the fuck up. Come on. I mean,
why didn't your kid grab the tickets before they left?
Yeah, what a way to show your kids to be better people than fucking fist fighting each other over 4 fucking tickets.
But yeah, there's only one Chuck E. Cheese now that's gonna have the old and the new whole thing, because like now they replaced it with all kinds of like wall video monitors and lights on the floor and all that shit, interactive games.
What the fuck goes to Chuck E. Cheese anymore?
There's still a lot of people that like the animatronics part about it.
Like the last time I went to Chuck E. Cheese, it was for my local fight club.
The Volo Car Museum in Illinois here, they have the animatronics of the Showbiz Pizza. They have that. They have a live thing in their setup there by their.
I did see an article that gave credit to Willy's Wonderland, and it was like before FNAF came out, there was another movie that did animatronics better, and they were highlighting Willy's Wonderland, and it's like, but I also kind of hate articles like that because it's like, it's almost like posting something in the paper and then having to post a retraction. Nobody gives a fuck about the retraction. So like 3 years later, nobody gives a fuck about some Nicolas Cage movie. Like, and anybody who watches, who's a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, is going to call it a ripoff anyways. So it's like, these articles should be coming out when these movies are coming out, not 3 years later, 4 years later, when you actually fucking appreciate it.
Willy's Wonderland did it better because it came out first, and people were like, "That's the movie." For the people that don't know that Five Nights at Freddy was actually a video game before that, and all that shit, it was inspired from the whole Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah,
bullshit.
but I mean, Five Nights at Freddy, even in that case, had a better inspiration because you had actual things to design based off of characters. Willy's Wonderland was just ripping off the ideas of Chuck E. Cheese and that other, what was the Banana Splits or whatever it was, like,
and Showbiz Pizza. And,
yeah, like that was the thing is Willy's Wonderland is a ripoff of an old concept, but it was one of the first good modern day takes on that ripoff. And then you're wrong, Five Nights at Freddy's is a good movie, but between the two, I'll go Willy's Wonderland every time.
One of the things I really love about Willy's is the almost video game like silent protagonist. I love that they use that as kind of a gag.
Not only that, but it reminded me, like, when he's playing the pinball machine drinking his Coke, did that remind anybody else of No More Heroes' his little things when he's like healing and shit? Like, that was that was almost like the in between the levels he was Scott Pilgrim and juicing back up again, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's how I took it. Like, him playing pinball and slamming his soda was him regenerating for the next level. Which I when you look at it in that, it's kind of a cool go rewatch that movie and look at it as though it's a video game. It's an interesting way to look at it. And my autistic mind looked at it from the get-go like that. I was like, oh, this is set up where he beat the first boss, he's going to the next level, but before that, he needs to play some pinball and drink some Sody Pop to recharge.
Sody Pop.
He was the pinball wizard.
So I have to decide what to do here. My wife is asleep. She told me to wake her up because we don't want the dog in the cage from 8 o'clock until tomorrow morning. I am considering letting her sleep and just taking the dog in the living room with me for a little while, so she's not all pent up. Gotta figure that out. I've been playing a lot of that new Yakuza game, which I'm loving it because, so there's Like a Dragon, which is the first Yakuza game to have that title in the States. They've now unified the title. It's no longer Yakuza. It's Like a Dragon, this one's called The Man Who Erased His Name, I think. And this game is in the same timeline as the other Like a Dragon game, to which I thought this was a sequel to. And it's really a quasi-sequel, more parallel to that story. And then come to find out, in January, they've got their biggest Yakuza game ever in sheer length. And it is the game I'm playing right now, and the other Like a Dragon games, characters and stories merging and working together in the next game. And I'm a big Yakuza fan, so I'm fucking running through this game. And it's good that it came out now, so I can beat it now, and then not touch another Yakuza game until January, so I avoid burnout. Because I will fucking burn out.
Did you happen to catch AEW?
Yeah, they had the Like a Dragon Gaiden street fight, right?
Yeah.
Boy, is that not shameless promotion, though?
Yeah,
like Kenny they might Omega as well have
and Show and all them were...
Yeah, they might as well have punched Big Show in the face, and then one of the guys is like, "Have a Pepsi to feel better," you know, like you can't get more promotion, like fucking other licensed promotion than that.
But the one guy that faced them, he actually was what's the guy Mikasor or whatever
Yeah, well, I also do find it funny that they literally have an entire fight based around promotion for another video game. Meanwhile, their video game is horribly failed. Which it has, and once I see it if I see it for $20 this Black Friday, I will definitely be picking it up. It's to the point where I'll tell Alex, and he needs to pick it up too, because he's the only other motherfucker I know that's gonna play it. So I'm gonna text him and be like, "Yo, it's $20 at Green Man. Fucking pick it up." And then we'll do a stream of it, and I'll play it when I just want to have some wrestling fun. But that's the problem with that game is it's probably fun for an hour or two. And then you don't really want to play it for a while, and that's kind of wrestling games in general, though, after a bit.
Or when I figure something out that Matt doesn't figure out yet, and he gets mad at me because I won't
Well,
tell him.
well, the whole thing I think that is he was like, we got it at the same time, and I didn't get a chance to play it. And by the time I played it, he'd been playing like fucking 4 or 5 hours of it, and he's doing something. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? And he's like, you don't know how to do that? And it's like, well, I wouldn't be asking if I knew how to fucking do it.
You have to move the joystick like this.
Yeah, I mean, the simplicity of the AEW game gives me a lot of interest, and I'm hoping I see it on sale somewhere. Like, I think $20 is my buy-in. I don't feel comfortable at 30. I think 20 is really the sweet spot.
I want to be Darby Allin rolling around on a skateboard and jumping at people.
Well, see, that's the thing is there is fun to be had with that game. It's just not. It doesn't have any sustainability. It's literally they released a DLC character that got released from the company like a week after. Like, it just, there's no. Tony Khan's got his, and also from what I understand, the AEW wrestling programming as well, like hasn't mentioned the game in months.
Well, if you ever look in the background, it always says AEW Fight Forever. It's always billboards.
But I feel like
on their
have they
monitors.
had any promotion for that game after it? Like there was some promotion before it came out, and then once it released, like I haven't seen a fucking thing unless you're watching AEW.
You'll hear they don't show any gameplay or anything, but you'll hear what's his name,
Jim Ross,
the mask guy. I can't remember the fuck his name. I don't like him. That's why I don't remember his name. But the announcer,
white guy who plays a Luchasaurus, right?
Yeah, the luchador. Yeah,
Luchasaurus.
There is a guy that's called Luchasaurus, but
he's a white dude who plays a Mexican dinosaur wrestler.
And he's actually a well-educated guy that fucking has a degree in.
Yeah, that's why AEW has like an eighth of the WWE audience still, because you got Luchasaurus in there.
He actually was in TNA way before, and then
how the fuck is Sting supposed to take somebody called Luchasaurus seriously? Like, Sting is from the old school where, like, he had to unfortunately work through the era of worst possible. Like, Sting was fighting, like, the plumber. Like, I'm sure if he sees a bad gimmick and is like, fucking, it's like fighting the plumber again. Like, Glenn Jacobs, DDS. That's Kane, by the way, in his dentist Kane, character. Makes no fucking sense.
Who hated, what's his name, Bret Hart?
Well, Vince McMahon in the 80s and early 90s was just like, we need characters that are based off of real people. So it was like the dentist and then the Star Wars ripoff guy and
Duke the Dumpster Drosy or some shit like that. The Star Wars one was from WCW though.
Yeah, and wasn't it just like one of the guys who was a wrestler for a while? They just put a stupid stormtrooper headset on.
It was Tugboat. The guy who played Tugboat.
All right, everybody, we'll be back in a couple weeks. I think maybe either a week or 2 weeks, but we're taking Thanksgiving off. We might take a couple weeks off to get have some time to ourselves and shit like that. I know Alex has his daughter in from college, so we're not going to be fucking with that family time. We hope everybody who's watching is getting some nice family time this upcoming week. Please enjoy your Thanksgiving. Be safe. Order your shit online. Stay home. Enjoy your family time. We love you guys. We will see you next time. I think if we go 2 weeks, the next episode is going to be starting of Christmas. So
Christmas, yep.
We'll be getting some Christmas movies in. It'll be cool.
It will be the 8th or something like that if we do 2 weeks.
I think we officially have to review reindeer games this year. I know that's one that we've kind of avoided. I wish Eli Roth's Thanksgiving is on VOD for cheap because here it's pretty good.
You want to see it?
Not to the point where I would do an episode on Thanksgiving to review that fucking movie, but the following week I'd consider it.
The VOD is also only one viewing if you bought it.
What?
For $20? Is that how it goes? Is it like
No, you have it for the rentals for 48 hours, but I don't know if you could rewatch it.
No, because from what I understand, you can watch it once.
Oh, just I don't ever rent movies. I buy them. I wait until they're a certain price and I just buy it.
I've rented movies on Prime before where it's like $3.99 or whatever, but you have 48 hours to watch it, but you have only one viewing. So once you finish it to the credits, it's done.
See, I don't find that to be fair because if you're following the old school rental model, if you rented a movie at Blockbuster, you could watch it 8 times in 24 hours. What did it matter?
But I think the reason why they do that is so you don't share your password with somebody else to fucking let them watch it.
You know what, dude? Enough with this shit. Like, Lewis and I had the discussion where, I'm anti-piracy. Well, I'm not anti because I'm still okay with some piracy, but like, I used to bootleg all my games and movies and shit. And now that I don't have to, I love to buy them. But like, at a certain point, how do you blame somebody? Like, if I can't get Top Gear, the entire collection of the first 24, 23 seasons, whatever it was, with the original trio, if you're not allowing me to just buy that, then it should be somewhere. And if I can't just go stream it without watching 10 minutes of commercials in between a 38-minute episode, then I'm honestly going to be hitting the VPN soon and downloading it somewhere, because it's like, enough with this. Like, I'm sorry, if I pay you $4 to rent a movie, I'm at my home. I should be able to view that fucking thing as many times as I want. You said I got 48 hours, then I got 48 fucking hours. Fuck you. That's bullshit.
But it's an issue with digital too, because like there's a Mike Flanagan movie I really like called Hush. You can't stream it, you can't rent it, you can't buy it, you can't buy physical. It's just it doesn't exist.
Well, look at all the all the stuff with Miramax. Nobody has seen a copy of Dogma in fucking 15 years. The last time anybody got a copy of Dogma, it was an asshole like me who walked into a disc replay and was like, "Oh shit, Dogma."
And they're lucky that they didn't jack up the price.
Yeah, I guarantee
if they were smart.
Oh, I guarantee you, if there's a disc replay in your area that has a copy of Dogma on DVD, that motherfucker's like $45.
It's like,
yeah,
minimum
now.
Yeah.
Oh, so by the way,
what's up?
Go check out fucking old what's it called, Old Dads with Bill Burr.
It's on the list. Did you see what what happened with him and his wife at the UFC event with Trump?
You mentioned it, yeah.
I don't understand what is up with completely grown old ass people acting like children. Like, say what you like. I don't really give a shit what your politics are. Like, it could have. So basically, they were both at the UFC event. Trump was in the front row. As he was going to his seat, Bill Burr's wife flipped him off from behind him. And it's like, if Biden was at that event in the front row and Kid Rock was sitting behind him flipping him off, I would call it fucking douchey. So I'm not going to hold back and not call a full grown ass woman flipping off a former president douchey. It's fucking douchey. You could see it on his face. He's got this look on his face like he's looking away and he's just like, so like, and there are people that, because of his wife, people say that Bill Burr's comedy has changed, and it has. I still find him funny, but Bill Burr's comedy used to kind of be like, I'm going to attack everybody, and that's just the way it is. But nowadays, you don't hear any jokes centered on white people. Like, all of his racial, or on anybody but white people, like all of his racial humor is like, yeah, this fucking white lady. And people are say that basically his wife has ruined his comedy. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure the motherfucker is still selling out huge fucking venues, so can't be doing that big of a damage. He's third row at the UFC event. Those tickets couldn't have been cheap. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. We'll see you